My name is Eric Johns. I'm with the Orange County Young Republicans. I am a candidate for Florida Federation of Young Republicans chairman. I see the Florida Federation of Young Republicans as trying to achieve two goals. The first is to elect Republicans in this election and in future elections. The other prong is to develop the human potential of the members of the Florida Federation of Young Republicans in order to achieve that first goal. So it's the second goal that I want to talk about. I've had the most amazing experiences running and operating in the Florida Federation of Young Republicans and in the Orange County Young Republicans. The 2 years I had as president of the Orange County Young Republicans was one of the best experiences I can say in my life. The skills that I picked up, the people that I met, the social capital and the human capital that I acquired. My goal is I want to let everyone else have that opportunity to attain and to reach their potential, because I think that is how we grow the party, that is how we win this election, that is how we win future elections. So let me give you one example. In planning the convention that we had last year, we did things like we advertised, we had to drum up a vote, we had to get people out, we had to get speakers, we had to fundraise, we had to advertise, we had to do the same skill set that you need to run a successful campaign are the same skills that we worked on in running the convention. So I think that running the convention is a microcosm of running a bigger race, statewide, countywide, citywide. So I think that running the convention is in a way a dry run for running a future campaign. So the skills acquired in that experience, I think, was probably the most rewarding experience I've had in the Florida Federation of Young Republicans. And now Patrick and Zach and the other Flagler YRs will have their opportunity. So I see my job as chairman is to allow the other people of the Florida Federation to have those same wonderful, amazing experiences I've had, and to let other people take the ball, run with it, burnish their skills, because that is how we will win future elections in the Republican Party of Florida. The REC, you can use a financial instrument as an analogy for the Republican Party, I think. The Republican Executive Committee is sort of like a bond. It has a fixed payout, a constant fixed payout every year or so. And say it's $100 every year. Every 2 years, the payout is supposed to be the same. The Young Republicans is a little bit different. The payout, what we can do in this election, we do everything we can, but it's not that great. Every 2 years, it grows exponentially. That is how I see the Young Republicans. That is why I'm running for chairman of the Young Republicans. That is what I see the role as chairman of the Young Republicans. So with that, if you have any questions, don't ask me now, but please message me, text me, call me, whatever, email. And anyway, I hope to earn your support over the next 2 weeks, and I hope to see as many of you as possible in Fort Myers. Thank you.
Thanks, Eric. Our next candidate, he traveled up from Broward County today, so he flew up here just for this. He currently serves as the National Committee Command for the FFYR, and he's also running for chair. So, Dan Ross.
Thanks for having me. I don't take as much time as I did last night in Broward. That's my home club, so talk to all my friends here as well. But Dan Ross. I'm from Fort Lauderdale, born and raised. 34 years. I love everything about this state. I love what I've loved most about my political experience here is being a young Republican. I'll just reiterate what Eric said. I mean, the people you meet in this, the friends you get in this, it's something that's, so it's going to last a lifetime. I mean, I just can't tell you how often I've been helped out, both professionally and personally, just through the relationships I have. But, running for chairman, it's really not about any of us that are trying to get it, it's just another business card. We're nothing without you as members. You're the most important part of this organization. And we need to be doing everything we can to back you up, because, if you're not out there knocking on doors, if you're not out there helping to elect Republican candidates, I have a business card that's worth nothing. It's a website with a title that doesn't mean a whole heck of a lot. So I think there's a couple things that I want to propose to, I think that we can do to help improve this organization. We've been doing a great job from the bottom all the way to the top, I think. It's been an honor to serve on your board. But one thing I would like to do right away is increase our state attendance, our state quarterlies. I think we can do that right away through smarter site selection. And by that I mean we're going to reevaluate our standards. I think our standards need to change with how the economy has changed, with the fact that unfortunately a lot of us are young and we don't have a whole lot of money to be going to spending $200 a night to stay at Marriott's and Sheraton's and stuff like that. So right away I think through smarter site selection with our hotels, we can bring down some registration costs. We can hopefully be able to pay for some meals, more meals for you. And I think right off the bat, I'm talking that we can at least save $100 for you a weekend. And for a lot of people out there, especially the ones that were trying to get into this club at the lower, at our entry level at 18, that's the difference between coming and not going at all. You know, not all of us are blessed with money, not all of us are blessed with time. And that's going to be, if we can lower those costs, I think we're going to get a lot more people at our events. That's, you know, that's going to help us network. It's going to help us get all of our resources together. The second thing I want to do is I really think we need to do a better job at filling up all of our boards, our committees, which is I want to have an all hands on deck approach to this election. I want all these committees filled, whether it's you know, about setting up social events, whether it's about voter outreach, any of these building the clubs or anything. Because not only will we have maximize the manpower that we have in this organization, we're going to be creating a farm team of leaders that when turnover happens in this organization, as it inevitably does, I'm running out of time myself, you know, 40 will be here soon enough. We want to make sure that people are getting the skills that they need to move up in the organization. I was told a long time ago that as you're moving up, you should always make sure that you're bringing people with you. You know, because you can't do this job by yourself. It takes a team of people to do this. You need to have a strong team from the top to the bottom. I'm running on a ticket. I have a lot of people who are running with me. Some of them are listed here today. Unfortunately, I'm here, so I guess Brian and Nick get the night off. So, but Paul's here, and I'm glad he's here for that. Other than that, I mean, the one other thing I would like to do with this organization is that there's a lot more opportunities at the state to get involved in national. At the national level, I'm also the resolutions and policy chairman. And just imagine, you know, what you're doing here locally, what you're doing here in the state, that you can take this to a national level and start meeting friends all over the state. I mean, obviously, Florida's a state, you know, a lot of transients. You may come, you may go, you may stay in this state, you may not. And it would really help you, you know, have friends in the political world wherever you're going to go, and you're like, am I out of time yet? Or you guys don't do that. Other than that, I'd just like to, you know, thank all of my YRs who've ever done anything to help this organization in its time. You're the ones that make this organization run. Your board means nothing without you. And if you haven't been thanked before, I'm here to thank you now. And I thank you for what you're going to do in this election. Thank you.
Thanks, Dan. Our next speaker, he traveled from Tampa Bay to be here tonight. He currently serves as our vice chair for the FFYR, and now he's running for state chair. So I'd like to introduce Johnny Torres.
Hello, everyone. You know, thanks, Patrick, for this fantastic idea, for having us out here tonight. You know, last year when I ran, it was grueling. I mean, I crisscrossed the state. I tried to reach as many clubs as I could. You know, you'd think I was running for, you know, a state house or you know, executive position, you know, in Tallahassee. My name is Jonathan Torres. As I said, I'm actually originally from South Florida, born and raised in Miami-Dade County, but since 2006 I've lived in Tampa Bay. And what I do for a living is marketing and advertising. I'm a marketing and advertising guy. You know, politics has been an incredible hobby of mine where I've made lots of great friends. In fact, Daniel was probably one of the first friends I made, you know, when I got involved in the YRs. And what I continue to see that we're lacking as a party isn't necessarily, you know, our flaws maybe from a platform perspective. I think, you know, our platform is where it needs to be given the current climate. I think what we're lacking is the right messaging and the right marketing. And that's the one thing that I did as chair for the Tampa Bay Young Republicans. When I was their chair last year, you know, we took 1/10 of every membership fee that we collected and we put that towards advertising the organization online. And what we did is that we went from an organization of about 10 members when I took over in November to a club that is now 150 members strong. And so I'm not any kind of a political genius. You know, I don't claim to know all the policies, and of course, you know, I do my best to have my little debates on Facebook and Twitter. But what I do know is marketing and advertising and how to grow the organization. And what we need to do is grow this organization, this young Republican organization, because our generation, the members that are involved right now, many of whom are also running for office, we're going to be the ones that dictate what the Republican Party is going to look like for the next 40 to 50 years. And right now, there's a lot of changes going on within our society, within our communities, and certainly within our party. And so we need to make sure that at this level, if not earlier, is when we start getting people involved. And you know, with Tampa Bay YRs, I've made great relationships with the college Republicans to where it's a natural system for them to become part of our organization. And like I said, we had exponential growth with just the smallest investment from each membership fee that we took. And that paid off in huge dividends. And to the point where now, when we do things in our community, we make it on the front page of, you know, the local newspaper. We get write-ups from the Associated Press. We end up in the Washington Post. We end up, you know, in Huffington Post, because we're also, again, being leaders in our community and creating the dialogue that we are trying to, you know, figure out, you know, as far as what direction is our party going to go in, you know, for the next 40 to 50 years. And so what the party needs right now is, again, it's a rebranding, it's a messaging, it's imaging, you know, and we need to get the people involved now and not wait until they're ready to run for office. You know, what I did in Tampa Bay, we've proven it, you know, in Sarasota. You know, Sarasota Young Republicans was revived about a year ago. And they went, again, from no members, because they had to start anew, and now they're about 35 members strong. And that's with a consistent and invested advertising plan. And so the literature that I left on the table is an outline of that plan as to what we would execute at the state level. Of course, there's some inside baseball too, for those of you not in the YRs, but I think we need to invest in how we're trying to reach the young people in our organization, and I hope that you take a moment to read that plan. Thank you.
Our next speaker is traveled from Polk County. He is running for our vice chair, and he is Scott Jones. Scott.
Good evening, everybody. It's good to be back here. I do have a little bit of history with Flagler County. I grew up in Ocala. We used to go to Flagler Palm Coast for marching band competitions. Also, one of my best friends from high school is the band director at Matanzas High School. So I do make it up here every now and then. Like Patrick said, my name's Scott Jones. I'm the president of the Polk County YRs. 18 months ago when I took over, we were struggling just to maintain our charter. A few of us actually signed our wives up who never came to a meeting just so we could have enough members in order to get going. Since then, we've grown over 290%. We just had a fundraiser for our club. The largest fundraiser that they had ever done made $700. We brought in over $5,000. And I did that by looking for key people throughout our community that maybe they didn't have time to go knock on doors every weekend, or they weren't able to come to every meeting every month, but they could come to a social event, or they could stop by the office and make phone calls. But the key was finding people who didn't want to look bad. They wanted to have something that if their name was attached to it, that they were going to do a great job. One of the things that I'd like to do as vice chair, and I always remember Dan during his reports, his biggest job was to make sure that the chair still had a heartbeat. But that always stuck with me. I want to seek out and make sure that all of our committees are full and functioning, and that there's somebody on the board that's looking out for them. When we bring new members to our quarterlies, I want them to have somewhere to go and that they can be involved. I kind of, in addition to being the president of the YRs, I'm also the RAC secretary in Polk County. And one of the things that we do during orientation is we always tell them it's like church. If you show up and you want to do something, we'll find somewhere for you to go. And that's what I want to see the FFYR do. We have a lot of things where we go. State deployments. We went to Virginia in the past year. We sent a lot of people over to Pinellas County to send Alex Sink back to her real home. And I want to make sure that no matter where people are in the state or whatever they have going on, that they have something that they can be involved with and feel like they're part of the organization. The other thing that I want to do for a lot of the insiders, and not to air any dirty laundry, I think we're past that, but togetherness has to be something that if we're going to function and we're going to be successful, that we have to do. And so one of the reasons that I'm running is because I want to commit to working with everybody, no matter what personality, no matter who they like, who they don't like. We have to find a way to all get along within the organization. And make sure that we're all headed down the same path. I work for Publix. I'm an assistant store manager. I have 150 associates. They're all different. I work with each and every one of them, and we're one of we like to call ourselves the flagship in Winter Haven, but we are one of the most successful stores in our area, and we do that by finding those personalities, putting them in the right role, and making sure that we're all headed in the same direction. So I ask, if you show up at the convention, please vote for me. I'm going to work hard for you and make sure that you have somebody on the board that's listening to you at all times.
Thanks, Scott. And our final speaker traveled from Marion County. His name is Paul Skinner, and he's running for treasurer.
Thank you, Patrick. Thank you for this opportunity to speak to you guys. Again, I'm from Marion County, not too far away from Gainesville, where I graduated from a political science degree. Marion County at one point was a thriving club, and for a couple of years it dropped off. So I decided with a couple of my friends that we would bring Marion County back to have a presence on the state level. On a personal note, I'm also a partner in an IT asset management company. We started it 5 years ago. We started with about $50,000, and now we're at a sales about $6 million. So we're growing, and I want to use that knowledge that I've had on the private sector with the FFYR as treasurer. And then also on the political side, I do campaign fundraising and some consulting. So with that knowledge and education on it, I would like to bring FFYR to the next level with fundraising to be able to help support our local clubs. Because that's our biggest goal, to make sure our clubs are thriving and have the financial means to be able to get more members into the seats. So I appreciate it, and I thank